I hate to say I told you so, but even if this report ends up not being real, I still think these conversations are going on internally. So yes, a report came out this morning claiming that Samsung is thinking about removing the charger from their phone next year, and oh, the irony. Oh man, I can't wait for all the counter arguments on this one. Let's begin. Alright, so let me be clear from something from the get-go, okay? I think this is a good move. The more and more I've argued with people about not including the charger with the iPhone, the more I've kind of burrowed myself into my original viewpoint, which is, yeah, I get why you're upset because we're used to having a charger with our phone. They're so expensive. This is the most essential accessory. Why not include it? But then I've started doing some more and more research on how bad the problem of e-waste is, and seeing that a major contributor to electronic waste comes from people not using the included accessories with their devices they're buying every year. Smartphones are one of the most popular electronics, in fact, the most popular electronic most people are buying these days, and if every single one of them is including a charger that all of us end up throwing away or getting rid of anyway or just flat out not using, why then do we have to include one with every single purchase? I get it, humans are resistant to change. You don't like the idea at first. You don't care about landfills. You don't care about electronic waste because you want a free charger included with your phone. Screw the environment, right? Screw the planet. None of that actually matters because you don't want to use your old charger. What companies are going to start preemptively making that decision for you from here on out? Because it sounds like, according to this report, Samsung wants to start removing the charger included with their flagship phones as soon as next year. So keep in mind, don't come crawling back here claiming I was wrong, claiming that the Galaxy Note 20 wasn't going to ship with a charger. That's not what I said, okay? That's not what this report is saying, and this report is not being very specific of who the source is. So to be completely fair, this report could end up being completely fake. This could end up being complete bogus, but the reason I'm talking about it in today's video is because I'm 100% certain it's happening behind the scenes. Companies are hearing about these reports of Apple not including a charger, and they're seeing how people are arguing with each other, and basically they're gonna do whatever Apple ends up doing, and this would not be the first time, particularly with Samsung. As we've seen in prior years, Apple removing something usually ends up being followed through by Samsung. No, it doesn't always happen within the year. Sometimes it takes a few years for Samsung to catch on, but it's absolutely true that companies like to see what Apple gets away with. They like to see what kind of hate and criticism Apple can get and still see successful sales, and then decide to implement it themselves down the road once people have gotten used to it. So obviously, when Apple removed the headphone jack, we saw countless YouTube videos and philosophical discussions about the importance of that port and how much people wanted it and they want it to stay, and yet it was gone, and within the next few years, pretty much everyone started following through with it and deciding, you know what, yeah, the wireless audio industry isn't able to provide as much high quality sound as the wired industry, but people are listening to stuff on their phones, okay? It's not audio professionals, and AirPods, Galaxy Buds, all these other wireless earbuds have showcased to people, hey, it's not amazing sound quality, but it's good enough. It's enough that people are willing to move on from the headphone jack and adapt to the times. And I think we're going to see a very similar transition with the removal of the included chargers with our iPhone. And honestly, this is even smaller of a deal because companies don't even have to talk about it on stage. When they're unveiling their phone, they don't have to show you their packaging. They don't have to talk about what's included with the phone. They can just not bring that up at all. Whereas in prior years, if they removed the headphone jack, it was kind of hard to ignore because when they showcased the design, they could kind of acknowledge like, yeah, so there's no jack anymore, but we included an adapter, so it's okay. With the removal of the charger, you guys don't even have to know about it until you order one or until it shows up on your doorstep. And I think once other companies, particularly Samsung, start seeing Apple get away with selling $1,000 phones that don't have a charger with them, then Samsung's probably going to start saying, hey, wait a minute, if they can get away with it, why can't we get away with it? And I know the big dilemma here comes from one side of the argument saying, this is all for money, companies just care about money. Well, of course they do, dumb nuts. If they didn't care about money, they wouldn't exist. A company is not a person. A company is not a charity. Their job is not to just give you all products for free. Saying a company cares about money is like saying a person cares about breathing. Yes, you do. That's how you survive. You need to breathe, but you can care about other things too. It's possible to care about more than one thing, so I'm sure both Apple, and in this case also Samsung, they both care about money because that allows them to make the decisions they want to make, and it allows them to be the change they want to be. So if they want to help the environment and they see a lot of contributors to e-waste coming from accessories being unused in phone purchases, then yes, they can care about profit margins while at the same time being able to price their phones more competitively and not have to include accessories that up the overall cost that Samsung has to end up paying. And keep in mind, it doesn't matter that these things cost them a few dollars to include with the iPhone or with the Samsung Galaxy products. Those things stack up. You know, the parts that go into a phone are very, very cheap compared to what a company has to charge from them, because there's a whole lot of infrastructure they have to pay for. There's software updates, there's shipping, there's advertising, there's paying for the assembly lines that produce these phones. There's a lot of overhead besides just the overall fundamental price of the parts, where those parts come from and how those parts are manufactured. That's why profit margins are a thing. So if you're finding out that a larger number of people buying new smartphones are not using the included accessories every year, why spend that extra waste just because some people really, really want one? So yeah, we're just gonna mess up the environment and keep contributing to e-waste, because some of you don't want to go out and buy a second charger with your phone, and you don't want to use your previous chargers that are already available at your household. I mean, come on, Samsung honestly has a better argument to remove the charger than Apple does, because Samsung has already switched over to USB-C. So we already have tons and tons of cables and tons of chargers at our households already that have USB-C cables and USB-C chargers, that buying a Samsung phone that doesn't come with a charger should be even easier than the iPhone, because the iPhone's one of those last devices trying to keep around lightning, so you gotta make sure you have that special lightning cable around for it. But Samsung, you don't even have that excuse, because USB-C is becoming more and more common now. So look, I completely understand that a lot of you are just like, well, why not? You know, why not just keep including the charger? Because I like getting a new charger whenever I get a new phone, which in my opinion is kind of a fairly selfish attitude when we look at what it's doing to our planet and what it's doing to our world as a whole. And if companies are able to say, hey, you know what, try and use your old charger if you can, and if you can't use an old charger because you don't have one or it's broken or something, I guess, yeah, you gotta spend another 10 to 15 bucks on a separate charger. But there's just so many people out there that are buying the latest phone every year. By the way, the people buying the latest phone, like pre-ordering them and getting them on launch day and stuff, those are the type of people that have chargers already. They don't need new ones with every single phone. But yeah, as soon as companies try to do something that can assure profit margins and put in better quality products at more reasonable price points by not including accessories that people aren't going to end up using, we still get this huge demographic of people that goes, yeah, but I don't want to have to spend that extra 10, 15 bucks. That's terrible. I can't do that. Okay, then I guess skip that phone. Keep your old phone then. You know, vote with your wallets. Let these companies know that you're not going to spend $1,000 on a phone if you have to spend an additional $10 on a new charger because you don't want to use your old one for some reason. Sorry for ticking everyone off. Keep in mind, this is just a man's opinion. It's not hurting anybody. None of this is confirmed, by the way. Honestly, the Galaxy S21 could still come with a charger, maybe even the Galaxy S22, but I guarantee that whether or not these reports are legit, Samsung is definitely thinking about it the same way they were thinking about removing the headphone jack back when Apple did it, and eventually, despite mocking them for years for it, they followed through, and we should expect a very similar result with Samsung products in the future, especially if Apple talks about it on stage as a way to help the environment. And Samsung is really good with promotional offers and stuff like that, so they could easily allow you to bundle a wireless charger or a fast charger for free if you end up pre-ordering their new phone. So if anyone's removing the charger, I think Samsung is probably the company that could do it the best, and I say don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Most people don't buy new phones because they're excited to get a new charger. It's because there's some new feature, but as soon as companies start thinking about taking it away, everyone loses their mind. But of course, I want to hear all of your unreasonable criticisms of this video by hitting me up over on Twitter, join my Discord, and you can make fun of me over there. This is your Alp Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.